Oil firms to hike on prices starting Tuesday. Prices of liquefied petroleum gas to increase in March. The DTI reports increase in prices of some brands of canned goods and condiments.
Halatang imported ngayon eh. Oo, totoo lang. Ewan ko kung saan nanggagaling ngayon eh.
Rice retailers baffled by the oversupply of imported rice in the market.
And the Oscar goes to Green Book.
This is hilarious. Gone Oscar.
And I could not be more grateful to each and every one of you and everyone who believed in me for this moment. It is something I will treasure for the rest of my life.
And the comedy drama Green Book steals Best Picture in the 2019 Oscars, while Olivia Colman and Rami Malek bags Best Actors and Actress awards. Good evening. Oil companies will impose a big-time oil price hike on Tuesday or tomorrow. Meanwhile, the price of liquefied petroleum gas is expected to increase next month. Grace Casin tells us why.
Boy Kagiwa, a public utility vehicle driver, gassed up early today as the price of diesel remains quite low. He said his income will soon be affected as the oil price hike looms tomorrow.
Malaki na ang nataas. Sobra. Kaya walang magawa kundi pagandaan na lang.
Oil companies are expected to impose a big-time oil price hike on Tuesday. Diesel, gasoline, and kerosene price will increase by more than 1 peso. Since January this year, the price of diesel and gasoline have increased by almost 5 pesos, with more than 3 pesos for kerosene.
Dagdag pasakit na naman sa mga nagdadrive. Oh.
Walang kikitain, mga driver.
Apart from this, the price of liquefied petroleum gas or LPG is expected to increase come March this year. According to Oil Industry Management Bureau Director Rheena, one of the reasons for the oil price hike is the production cut of oil exporting countries like Venezuela and the members and non-members of the Organization of Petroleum Exporting Countries or OPEC.
Itong ini-implement ng ating mga oil companies ay galing mismo dun sa import cost. So ito ay directly associated with the fuel itself na imported. So wala po tayong control dun. Kasi ito ay ini-import lang po natin.
The Department of Energy for its part advises motorists to conserve gas. Find out what is the right time to travel to prevent traffic. Consider carpooling. Make sure that one's vehicles is well maintained to avoid consuming too much fuel. Consider using public transportation once in a while too. Abad added that the jeepney drivers should avail the benefits of Pantawid Pasada program to help them in their fuel expenses. With the news of the oil price hike, consumers are usually concerned that the prices of goods in the market will also go up. However, according to Philippine Amalgamated Supermarket Association President Stephen Kua, the prices of basic and prime commodities in supermarkets will not be affected by the spike of oil prices.
It affects the delivery side lang, okay? Ngayon, these items naman hindi naman weekly ang deliveries. No? Meron twice a week, pero hindi naman, hindi katulad sa palengke daily. Perishable ang item. Kailangan umabot, bumaha, lumindol, kailangan umabot ang item dahil masisira, mabubulok ang mga produkto, di ba? So sa amin, matagal naman, pwede namang iplano ang delivery. So may affect, it affects them of course, pero can be planned and can be minimized can be prevented or minimized yung effect, no?
Grace Casin, UNTV News and Rescue, Quezon City.
The Department of Trade and Industry has approved the price increase of more than 50 products, which include canned goods, sardines, and milk products. John Nano tells us why.
Due to pending requests of several manufacturers for a price increase, the Department of Trade and Industry, or DTI, has approved the price increase of 56 various products. This include canned goods, milk products, salt, and other condiments. The DTI has also considered higher manufacturing costs, more expensive raw materials and packaging, labor, and fuel costs. Based on the latest suggested retail price or SRP the DTI has released, the prices of milk products have increased by 50 centavos to 1 peso and 20 centavos. This include evaporated, condensed, and powdered milk. The price of a popular milk brand increases by more than 6 pesos from its previous price of 57 pesos. A price hike of around 40 centavos to 1 peso and 50 centavos is also imposed on various brands of sardines. Iodized salt in supermarkets is now sold by 50 centavos to over 2 pesos more. The prices of vinegar, soy sauce, and fish sauce meanwhile increased to more than 1 peso.
Pinipilit natin talagang ibaba ang presyo as much as possible na kung pwedeng mag-rollback but because of the 3 months hold-off period, hindi tayo maka-rollback ng presyo. So, and DTI makes sure na kung hindi talaga justified ang reasons nila for increasing their prices, hindi natin ipapa-increase talaga.
On the other hand, some consumers are complaining as the price increase translates to another burden on them out of very limited budget.
Masyadong yung mabigat na para sa budget ng sa araw-araw. Isang kain namin, bali 200 na tapos iba pa sa gabi. Mahirap po para sa amin.
Kasi mas mataas na yung 100 grams, yun lang ang budget. Pag walang pera, wala akong pambili malaki. Siyempre, ang hirap ng buhay Mahirap po, pero wala tayong magawa
Out of 242 goods on the SRP list, 186 items retained their prices, the DTI said. John Nano, UNTV News and Rescue, Quezon City.
Several retailers wonder why their market is flooded with imported rice even if the rice tariffication law is not yet in effect. Ray Pelayo explains why.
The prices of local commercial rice have decreased by 200 pesos per sack in Trabajo Market in Manila. The same decrease happened in the prices of imported rice while the volume of its supply increased. This although the rice tariffication law has not yet taken effect. The new law relaxes the importation of imported rice with 35 to 50% tariff. Susan Doctor, a rice retailer, said she was compelled to sell imported rice to augment her inventory.
Kalat ang imported ngayon Oo, totoo lang. Ewan ko kung saan nanggagaling ngayon
A variety of imported rice can be bought at 47 pesos per kilogram, which has the same quality as the local rice priced at 52 pesos per kilogram. But consumers may avail of local rice for 36 pesos per kilogram.
Mas malakas yung local, mas masarap po yun.
Mas gusto niyo yung 60 na local? Ba't mas gusto niyo?
Kasi malambot kasi yun Malambot, parang malagkit siya.
On the other hand, consumers like Vicky Estrella prefers to buy imported rice.
Mas mahal siya kasi.
Ayaw niyo po ba yung local?
Pwede rin, kaya lang pareho lang din kasi. Kasi yung sa local minsan medyo malagkit. Ayaw ng husband ko kasi.
The Confederation of Grain Retailers of the Philippines, or GRECON, said the flooding of imported rice in the market is due to the out-quota shipment. This has been approved by the government to ease the problem on rice prices in the market last year. They estimate that more than 1 million metric tons of imported rice will arrive in the country.
Sa out-quota, kahit po gaano karami, pwede ka po magpasok ng imported na bigas. Kung magbabayad ka ng service fee na itinakda ng NFA Council.
Agriculture Secretary Manny Piñol, meanwhile, clarifies that although the rice tariffication law is set to take effect on March 5 this year, it will not be implemented until the implementing rules and regulations, or IRR, is provided. The availability of cheaper NFA rice will also be found out upon the provision of the IRR. Ray Pelayo, UNTV News and Rescue, Manila.
A group of rice traders appeals to include the strengthening of policies in the crafting of the implementing rules and regulations of the rice tariffication law. Nel Maribok tells us why.
Rice retailers say that most Filipinos still opt for cheap rice. Such is the case in a small market in Manila where there is a high demand for cheap rice.
Yung mga mura lang. Tulad ng NFA, gano'n.
Sa isang araw po, 3, 5, gano'n.
Under the rice tariffication law, rice importation will be open to private traders. They will need to pay a straight 35% tariff for the imported rice. It can be expected that rice will be sold at cheaper prices in the market, what with an abundant supply of rice. while the supply of NFA rice in the market will eventually be gone. But Rice Traders Group Alyansa ng Industriyang Bigas has expressed worries over the possible proliferation of rice cartels and smuggling when the time the said measure gets implemented. It can be noted that the monopoly of rice supply became an issue in the country when the name Davidson Bangayan surfaced. In November 2018, the Department of Justice indicted Bangayan over monopolies and other violations. Because of the said issue, Robert Hernandez, the founding chairman of the Rice Traders Group, said the safeguards in fighting such illegal activities should be included in the implementing rules and regulations or IRR of the rice tariff law. The presence of rice cartels is one of the reasons why there is a spike of prices of rice in the market, he said.
Itong mga smuggler, itapon lang nila yung 200 pesos, may kita sila 150 sa 1,000. Masaya na sila. Malaking kita na yan sa rice business. The government will do something na included sa IRR, measure how to eradicate those smuggler.
Hernandez also appealed to concerned government agencies to monitor the prices of rice in the retailer sector in addition to programs to help the local farmers.
Sabi ko nga, panawagan ko kay Presidente Duterte na this coming harvest, iiyak po ang mga farmer. They have to do something as early as now, February, end of February na ngayon. Mababa na, may nabibili na doon na palay na 19, 18.
Under the rice tariff law, there is an allocation of 10 billion pesos annually for the Rice Competitiveness Fund, which will be used to directly help local farmers to increase the volume of their harvest. Nel Maribuhok, UNTV News and Rescue, Quezon City.
A feel-good comedy drama Green Book has been named Best Picture in a surprise victory over Roma during an Oscars ceremony filled with diversity, historic wins, and a lack of a host. This report explains why.
Once again, here are the nominees for Best Picture. Black Panther, Black Klansman, Bohemian Rhapsody, The Favorite, Green Book, Roma, A Star is Born, Vice. Oh, and the Oscar goes to Green Book.
Road trip movie Green Book won Best Picture at the Oscars on Sunday, while Mexico's Alfonso Cuarón was chosen as Best Director for his sentimental film Roma. In an upset, Britain's Olivia Colman got the Best Actress Oscar for The Favorite, beating presumed frontrunner Glenn Close, who starred in The Wife.
This is hilarious. Got an Oscar. To be in this category with these extraordinary women, and Glenn Close, you've been my idol for so long, and this is not how I wanted it to be, and I think you're amazing. I love you very much.
Rami Malek won for his role as the late frontman Freddie Mercury in the 21st Century Fox musical Bohemian Rhapsody. The film also won 3 other Academy Awards.
I'm so appreciative to all of you, to everyone who has had a hand in getting me here. Listen, we made a film about a gay man, an immigrant who lived his life just unapologetically himself. And the fact that I'm celebrating him and this story with you tonight is proof that we're longing for stories like this. I am the son of immigrants from Egypt. I'm a first-generation American, and part of my story is being written right now, and I could not be more grateful to each and every one of you and everyone who believed in me for this moment. It is something I will treasure for the rest of my life.
Roma, the black and white Netflix film in Spanish and the indigenous Mixtec language, won 2 other Oscars, including foreign language film, a first for Mexico. but it was denied what could have been the first Best Picture Oscar for a streaming service. Green Book from Universal Pictures took 2 other Oscars from Best Original Screenplay and Supporting Actor Mahershala Ali, who played a black pianist tourist the segregated U.S. South in the 1960s.
The whole story is about love. It's about loving each other despite our differences and finding out the truth about who we are. We're the same people.
Regina King won her first Oscar for her supporting role as a mother fighting for justice in If Beale Street Could Talk. Meanwhile, Black Panther did win 3 Oscars out of its 7 nominations, including costume design, production design, and original score, while Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse won animated film. Avengers Infinity War lost visual effects to First Man. Alfonso Cuarón won 2 Oscars for director and cinematography. The Academy Awards ceremony was held without a host for the first time since 1989 and instead was filled with powerhouse music performances. They included an emotional duet by Lady Gaga and her A Star Is Born director Bradley Cooper of their original song nominee Shallow, which brought Gaga her first Oscar. British band Queen got the Academy Awards ceremony off to a rousing start with a performance of their hit songs, We Are the Champions and We Will Rock You, that brought the A-list crowd to its feet. Rheena, Villamor-Camara, UNTV News and Rescue. Up next on Y News. Find out latest diet programs and to which extent are they effective. And the Members Church of God International celebrate their first ever feast dedicated to God. Thank you for keeping me company in the first part of Y News. More reasons behind the stories with Angelo, Castro III and William Thio after this quick break. I'm Rheena, Villamor-Camara. Good evening.
Welcome back to Y News. We pick up from Rheena, Villamor-Camara left off. I'm Angelo, Castro III, and here are the headlines. President Rodrigo Duterte tells Filipinos to be inspired and value the liberty we got from EDSA revolution.
Masyado na tayong naging lenient na akala natin ang pagtutuon ng pansin ng ating mga anak sa mga social media accounts. Bilang isang magulang, you should know that there should be a limit.
Study shows too much use of social media may lead to depression. And 34 cocaine bricks found anew in the waters of Surigao del Sur. It is noticeable that not many attended this year's commemoration of the peaceful revolution that happened 33 years past. Ayuko Miguel explains why.
Former President Fidel V. Ramos skipped the commemoration of the 33rd EDSA People Power anniversary held at the EDSA People Power Monument today. The EDSA People Power Commission said that Ramos was supposed to attend this year's rites but had to beg off due to health reasons. Ramos, one of the key personalities of the Bloodless Uprising, usually leads the Salubungan, the traditional reenactment of the 1986 historic meeting of government forces and civilians on EDSA, together with then Defense Minister Juan Ponce Enrile. Ramos was the Philippine Constabulary Chief during the regime of late President Ferdinand Marcos. His actions, together with Enrile, led to the ouster of the late strongman and propelled Corazon Aquino into presidency in 1986. Even Philippine National Police, PNP Director General Oscar Albayalde skipped the event and was instead represented by National Capital Region Police Office and CRPO Director Guillermo Eleazar. Eleazar offered no reason for Albayalde's absence, but said that representing the country's top cop in events like this is no longer new for him.
Nangyayari naman talaga yan na may pagkakataon na for several times, dahil sa dami rin ang schedule ng ating Chief PNP, ay ako inaatasan para mag-represent sa kanya.
Philippine national artist Cecil Guidote Alvarez, meanwhile, lamented the diminishing number of attendees in the annual EDSA People Power Anniversary commemoration.
Sa palagay ko dahil maraming mga masalimuot na suliranin sa ating bansa, lalo na ngayon, election time. Kanya siguro walang panahon sa ngayon. Ngunit naniniwala ako na hindi maaaring iwaksi sa ating kamalayan ang napakaningning na kaganapan sa buong mundo na halimbawa ang Pilipinas sa mapayapang pagtatakwil ng diktadurya sa pagbabalik ng demokrasya at hanggang ngayon merong mang mga suliranin, merong mang mga karahasan, tayo ay nakikilaban. Patuloy yan.
Former President Benigno Aquino III, meanwhile, encouraged the public to use their right to vote so that the grim history of the country during martial law will never happen again. He said that the public should remain vigilant because it seems like history is repeating itself.
Hindi na nagbabalik yung mga ugali at pamamaraan na ating pong nilabanan na noong panahon ng kadiliman ng batas militar.
The former president even cited the proposal to change the country's name to Maharlika as reminiscent of the Marcos regime.
Gagawin na naman tayong Maharlika. Parang last time ko narinig yan, parang si Apo Perdi pa yata nakaupo. Grabe naman yung inapo left turn, U-turn na ho yata ito.
Aquino called on the public to use their votes to prevent the nation from falling into a worse situation.
Pag bumoto ka sa kaalyato na administrasyon, o mga in-endorse na, edi sinabi mo na rin, tama po lahat ng ginawa nyo, ituloy po nyo, lalo pa nyo paigtingin.
Aiko Miguel, UNTV News and Rescue, Quezon City.
President Rodrigo Duterte has urged the public to deeply value the liberty that Filipinos are now enjoying after the 1986 EDSA People Power Revolution. In his message for the commemoration of the 33rd anniversary of the revolution, Duterte expressed hope that the people, especially the younger generation, would always remember that the freedom being enjoyed at present is due to the sacrifices of Filipinos back then. The president also reminded Filipinos that their right to vote has the power to chart the course of the country. Duterte also noted that the 1986 EDSA People Power Revolution is proof that history can be rewritten without resorting to violent means. Malacanang said last week that Duterte will likely skip the EDSA rites on Monday, as he has done in the past 3 years. However, the palace clarified that Duterte's snubbing of EDSA People Power Anniversary commemoration has nothing to do with his closeness to the Marcos family, who were ousted by the revolution. Meanwhile, let's go back in history to know what exactly happened during the 1986 EDSA People Power Revolution. Mai Bermudez has this report.
Traffic should not be the only thing that comes to mind when passing through the Epifanio de los Santos Avenue, or EDSA. On February 22, 1986, more than 2 million Filipinos occupied and marched down this long road. The stretch of Ortigas to Cubao in Quezon City was full of people who were fighting for democracy then.
Yung People Power Revolution is parang one of the pivotal moments in the history kasi yung time na nagsama-sama yung nation para mapatalsik yung isang diktadoryang pangulo.
More than 3 decades have passed when the people who joined the peaceful revolution blocked military tanks and encouraged the armed forces to withdraw their support to then President Ferdinand Marcos. Soldiers in Camp Crame and Camp Aguinaldo, who were then controlled by former military men Juan Ponce Enrile and Fidel Ramos, joined the peaceful revolution and turned their backs on then President Marcos, who ruled the country for more than 14 years.
May mga paglabas sa karapatang pantao na nangyari. So, yun yung context kaya naging nung nangyari yung people power, symbol of democracy siya.
And though they had not been born yet, when the historical chapter in the Philippine history took place, the youth of today are able to share their opinions on why celebrating this event is significant.
So yung relevance niya for me, or I think for most of the Filipinos, is for us to remember kung gaano kinakaya ng lakas ng pagtutulungan ng bayan sa pag-achieve ng isang malaking adhikain.
People Power Revolution talaga ay yun nga, ginawa
upang patalsikin si Marcos. Hindi siya ginawa dahil may kulay.
It's a good thing lang din na parang we try to reminisce the past. Kasi it's for the next generation din to see na there are people na really love the nation and they really can contribute to it.
Hindi pulat dilaw ang tunay na magkalaban. Hindi, totoo kasi. I love that song. I love that part from that song na hindi pulat dilaw ang tunay na magkalaban kasi kalayaan ang pinaglalaban.
Yeah.
Historian and Professor Xiao Chua said many countries have followed the Philippines' footsteps to claim their democracy, such as Czech Republic, Germany, Yugoslavia, South Korea, Libya, and even the Arab Spring.
Maraming gumaya. Template kasi, tayo yung nagpakilala. Bagamat hindi tayo nauna dyan. Portugal noong 1974 ang nauna sa peaceful, quote-unquote, peaceful revolution.
History repeats itself, so they say. Through the second People Power Revolution, known as EDSA II, former President Joseph Ejercito Estrada was ousted by his then Vice President Gloria Macapagal Arroyo. The fight for democracy on EDSA has ended, but the Filipinos' fight for their nation continues. Mai Bermudez, UNTV News and Rescue, Quezon City.
Authorities recovered more than 30 bricks of cocaine in Surigao del Sur. Meanwhile, the police continue to call on fisher folks to be vigilant and report any suspicious items seen in their areas. Vincent Arboleda tells us why.
The police recovered 34 bricks of suspected cocaine at past 6 yesterday morning at Purok Santan, Barangay Bungtod, Tandag City, Surigao del Sur. The contraband was seen by two fishermen identified as Ronnie Navales and Ryan Apelo along the seawaters of Surigao del Sur. Navales and Apelo promptly reported their discovery to the Surigao del Sur Police Provincial Office, headed by Police Senior Superintendent Francisco Dungo. The inventory was conducted by Police Regional Office 13 or PRO 13, Regional Director Police Chief Superintendent Gilberto Cruz and Surigao del Sur Crime Laboratory. Along the shore of Barangay Bungtod, in the presence of Tandag City Mayor Alexander Pimentel. The police noticed that the bricks have dollar signs written on them, similar to those recovered in Dinagat Island Province over 2 weeks ago.
Binayaran siya ng bigas at sabi ng fisherman na kung pwede na 4 lang na po yung kunin nila tapos yung 30 convert to cash na lang.
The police credit the recovery to the information campaign initiated by the PRO 13 Regional Director, who continued to urge fisher folks to immediately report any suspicious bricks seen in sea waters. Authorities are offering to reward each surrendered block of cocaine with a sack of rice.
Doon sa Dinagat Island, kaparehas talaga yung markings niya, yung nakita dito sa Tandag. Color sign yung nakasulat doon sa kada bloke. Kaya parehas talaga yung pinagmulan nito.
The contraband was brought to the PRO 13 headquarters for further examination by the Philippine Drug Enforcement Agency 13 and for proper disposition. Vincent Arboleda, UNTV News and Rescue, Philippines.
Parents are advised to monitor their children over social media usage. This after a study reveals that spending more time on social media may lead to depression for teenage girls. Rosalie Cos will tell us why.
The high rate of depression among girls is linked to greater time spent on social media based on the Millennium Cohort study conducted by the Economic and Social Research Council in the United Kingdom. Of the 11,000 14-year-olds who were part of the study in England, Scotland, Wales, and Northern Ireland, 40% of the teenage girls who spend more than 5 hours a day on social media have shown symptoms of depression. With these results, parents are advised to monitor their children on social media usage. According to psychologist Dr. Camille Garcia, this is because personality development happens during teenage years. She explained that if depression is linked to higher usage of social media, the possibility of having low self-esteem among teenagers is also high. This, as cyberbullying and manipulation may also happen on social media.
Masyado na tayong naging lenient na akala natin ang pagtutuon ng pansin ng ating mga anak sa mga social media accounts at the same time yung magkaroon sila ng access sa kanilang mga accounts. Bilang isang magulang, you should know that there should be a limit.
The psychologist also said that parents should allow their teenagers to use the social media only for 1 hour at the most every day. Medalita season, a parent had a Wi-Fi connection in their household cut to control her children's social media usage. She shared that she knows the passwords of her children's social media accounts. This way, she could monitor her children's online activities. She also makes sure to spend quality time with her children to communicate with them personally. Because of her measures, Medalita's daughter Sunshine now spends more time in studying and in doing household chores than in using her mobile phone.
Bigyan din natin ng oras kung hanggang saan sila, kung hanggang kailan lang nila dapat gamitin si social media.
Sunshine shares she uses her phone and her social media account only to chat with her friends about their favorite singers.
Kasi may GC po yung idol ko, tapos din po kami nag-uusap-usap.
Rosa Licoz, UNTV News and Rescue, Manila.
There are many popular diet programs everywhere, but are they all effective? Monokson will tell us why we should be cautious in doing this regimen.
A 2017 report showed that 18 Filipinos are obese and overweight. As it is a fact, many Filipinos have tried a lot of diet programs. But what really is diet? Diet is a special course of food with which a person restricts or limits himself for either weight loss or for improvement of health conditions. And as diet programs have become popular, many have tried at least one or two. But are all these diet programs effective? To achieve the ideal weight, there is a no-rice diet plan, the most popular of all in this diet plan. Rice is omitted from one's dining table all day long. Some do it for 2 weeks or even longer. More and more are following the ketogenic diet, a new twist on extreme weight loss. It is a high-fat, adequate protein, and low-carbohydrate diet through which the body is forced to burn fats instead of carbohydrates. Many are also into intermittent fasting or IF. One can eat whatever he wants within 8 hours, but with no food intake in the remaining 16 hours for an 8-16 plan. Another is the low-calorie diet. Calorie intake is controlled depending on one's body weight goal. According to Crisia Pailago, a nutritionist and dietitian, there is a risk in every diet program if a person is not cautious. Pailago says that in a no-rice diet plan, a person may feel weak if he immediately omits rice from his diet.
Immediate source of energy natin. So kung ikaw yung gutom na, tas yun lang yung kakainin mo, ang tagal pa bago makuha yung energy coming from those food items as compared to carbohydrates. So, importante talaga yung rice. Hindi pwedeng i-omit mo siya basta-basta.
While the ketogenic diet has adverse effects, she said,
kapag mababa yung carbohydrates, specifically yung rice, definitely pag nag-a-attract kasi yan ng water sa katawan natin, mas marami yung na-attract ng water ng carbohydrates as compared sa fat at saka sa protein. So, ang initial na naglo-lose talaga sa'yo is water.
Intermittent fasting is risky, especially when one doing it has medical conditions.
If the person has other health conditions, like for example, diabetes, kailangan kasi i-control natin yung blood sugar levels nila. So kapag halimbawa 8 hours lang kakain, gugutumin mo yung cells, hindi pwede. Magkakaroon tayo ng hypoglycemia. Pwede siyang matumba, mahilo, mahimatay, whatever. So critical naman yun. Pwede ma-ICU yung pasyente.
For a low-calorie diet, there is a risk that metabolism might slow down if calorie intake is not managed accurately.
Kasi magkakaroon tayo ng tinatawag na plateau, if you're familiar with it. So kapag nagpa-plateau yung tao, kahit pa wala ka ng kainin, puro tubig na lang, hindi bumababa yung timbang mo. Ibig sabihin, yung metabolism mo, sobrang bumagal. So ang tendency, parang makina, hindi siya umaandar ng maayos or gumagana ng maayos kung konti lang talaga or halos wala kang nilalagay na gasolina.
The nutritionist said diet programs are only for short-term and not for long-term use. She said that changing one's lifestyle is a process.
It's more of, it's not the short term. Kaya nga yung mas mabagal, yung mas okay, yung dahan-dahan natin babaguhin. Depende rin kasi it's hard, but then yung resulta in the long run is very much favorable.
And the most important of all is consulting a doctor first before and after a weight loss program.
kahit na-achieve natin yung healthy weight or naging payat tayo as compared sa dati nating timbang, not necessarily na healthy ka na. Kasi una-una ipapamonitor natin yung lab results natin para i-check kung talagang healthy tayo.
Mon Hokson, UNTV News and Rescue.
The Members Church of God International, or MCGI, celebrate the first ever feast dedicated to God in our time. Leslie Longboen will tell us why.
Sa Biblia po, merong itinuturo na piyesta ng Diyos, pagdiriwang, pagpapasalamat sa Diyos, pagkilala ng utang na loob sa Diyos. Ang talaga pong intensyon ng piyesta ng Diyos ay para yung mga taong kumikilala sa Kanya ay magdiwang dahil sa Kanya.
Members Church of God International, or MCGI, celebrated a one-of-a-kind biblical event on Sunday, February 24 at the ADD Convention Center, Apalit, Pampanga, and in selected ADD coordinating centers all over the world. Led by Overall Servant Brother Eli Soriano and Assistant Overall Servant Brother Daniel Razon, MCGI invited the poor, the homeless, and street dwellers in their feast.
Sa amin pong pagsasama-sama, itinuturo sa amin na kahit hindi namin kasama sa pananampalataya, ay pagsikapan namin na makagawa ng kabutihan sa kanila. At ito po isa sa mga pagkakataon na yon. Kaya salamat po sa Diyos at binigyan nyo kami ng pagkakataon na sa ganitong pagtitipon ay makapagbahagi sa inyo ng aming munting makakayanan para po maipadama na ang pagsasama-samang ito ay nakakonsentrate na hindi para gumawa ng kasamaan sa kapwa.
The ADD Music Ministry and Teatro Cristiano opened the event with songs of praises, fun games for children, the oldies but goodies, the youth, and couples were held to entertain members and guests with prizes at stake. Singing wannabes were also invited to join the singing contest.
Masaya. Parang kapiling ko yung Diyos. Alam, talaga, nagkataon ngayon, piyesta pa ng Diyos ngayon. Kaya, tapos, napasali pa kami sa singing contest. Kami yung nanalo ng first prize.
There were Filipino games or Palarong Pinoy too to give fun to the young and old alike.
Salamat po sa Diyos. Thank you po. Opo, masaya po. Salamat po.
And since it was a feast or fiesta in Spanish, foods and drinks were bountiful. Aside from the singing of songs of praises and getting together as a worldwide congregation, MCGI also set up free stores from which guests were able to bring home shirts, pants, bags, shoes, and a lot more. All for free.
Sa amin po, malaking pasasalamat po namin na nagkaroon ng wheelchair ang aking anak dahil ang aking anak talaga ay yan talagang pinapangarap namin na magkaroon siya ng wheelchair. Ngayon lang siya nagkaroon ng wheelchair.
Masarap sa pakiramdam. Siyempre, basta andyan si Lord, okay. Mensahe ko, sana magtagal pa natin daan.
Even public officials in Apalit, Pampanga were present to celebrate the feast dedicated to God with MCGI.
Masayang-masaya ang nararamdaman namin na kahit na hindi kami kapanalig, pero kaisa kami sa pagdiriwang ng piyesta ng Diyos dito sa dating daan.
Masaya, nagkakaisa ang mga kapatid natin. Hindi kagaya ng sa ibang reliyon. Bahay-bahay dito, yung paghahanda, minsanan lang, nagkakasama-sama, yan, masaya. Nakikita natin at saka walang nagiinuman, ganyan na.
So, ang napansin ko, parang maganda yung ganitong pagtitipon, yung pagganap ng piyesta ng Diyos na isang komunidad sabay-sabay na sineselebrate yung kapistahan na lahat ng mga tao nasa isang lugar. Kumbaga sa ibang mga nagsaselebrate celebrate ng mga kapistahan, malaking pagkakaiba. Dito, nagtitipon-tipon silang lahat dito.
The celebration of the feast dedicated to God is based on the Gospel of Luke, chapter 14, verses 13 to 14. But when thou makest a feast, call the poor, the maimed, the lame, the blind, and thou shalt be blessed. For they cannot recompense thee, for thou shalt be recompensed at the resurrection of the just. Leslie Longboan, UNTV News and Rescue.
The Wishcovery Season 2 finalists are now in the final stage of intense practice as they prepare for tomorrow's grand finals. They say they are excited, at the same time nervous, for that big vocal battle. Joan Hano will tell us why.
The second season of Wishcovery Wish 1075's hit online singing competition kicked off in August last year. And as the grand finals night is up tomorrow, February 26, Wishcovery Season 2, the singer and the song finalists continue to gear up for the big vocal battle at the Big Dome. With much focus and determination in mastering their pieces, the 8 finalists are up for the challenge to give their best performance before the Wishcovery crowd. All are both excited and nervous as they are about to take the stage for their first ever live performance at the Araneta Coliseum.
Super kinakabahan ako. Preparation-wise, siguro more on vocal rest ako ate kasi everything ang hectic ng schedule. So kailangan habol talaga sa tulog, sa pahinga.
First time ko po na ganun kalaki ang crowd. This is something else. It's very big. Very blessed.
Each composer Wishcoverer is also working hands-on to ensure 100% performance in the competition's grand finals. The coaches gave their pieces of advice for every singer too. Despite the intense pressure, the composer Wishcoverers are confident that their artists will be at their top performance tomorrow.
I think we have done pretty much what we need to do. Abangan nyo dahil meron kaming aside from the original song that we wrote, meron pa ipe-perform and bawat isa, mga hit songs namin. Yung sa camp ko will be a totally different attack.
Everything is A-okay, everything is scheduled. Na-instill naman namin yung trust, pagmamahal at faith doon sa aming camp. We're ready. He's ready. Everybody's good, but I think we have the best.
Though not feeling well, finalists Jamie Picardal of Camp Rani and Nashrin Casas of Camp Top assured their supporters they will not be hindered from giving their superlative vocal performance.
Kinakabahan for my voice, but the moment na nag-start na po ang grand finals, I will just enjoy the moment because ito po yung moment na kung saan ay magdiriwang po lahat ng mga OPM songs at may papakilala sa buong mundo kung gaano kaganda ang musikong Pilipino po.
Actually, I'm not feeling well ngayon kasi po dahil sa skeds, parang nababaguhan po yung katawan ko. But I will just do my best po para for the grand final.
The coaches and finalists once again thank Wish 1075 and BMPI Chief Executive Officer President Kuya Daniel Razon for coming up with this one-of-a-kind and innovative competition that promotes original Filipino music or OPM, not just here in the Philippines but also in other parts of the globe.
This is really an unprecedented contest or competition. Kakaiba, no? I think you have been a pioneer to out of the box, no? Not just an entertainment, but especially in promoting Filipino music. Kaya grabe, Kuya Daniel, maraming salamat.
It's such a fantastic idea. It has its merits because nowadays it's hard to get new artists. There are new songs out there. Even for songwriters like me, it's always encouraging to have a new venue, an outlet to to expose new material out there.
Hindi siya mainstream eh. Hindi siya mainstream na parang yung mga sikat na singers yung talagang nagko-compete. Ngayon talaga, they're looking for raw and undiscovered talents. So, very thankful po ako na nandito ako ngayon, and thank you din po kay Kuya Daniel for coming up with this kind of competition.
The top 8 wish covers represent Metro Manila, Pangasinan, Bicol, Cebu, Iloilo, Butuan, Davao City, and USA, Canada. Joan Nano, UNTV News and Rescue.
Up next on Y News.
It's really been terrific. I tell you, that whole relationship has been outstanding.
U.S. President Donald Trump delays the increase in tariffs on Chinese goods after citing progress in trade talks with China. And the annual exhibit features costumes worn by Oscar nominees and puts them on public display for free. And those are the reasons behind the stories in the second part of our newscast. Y News returns with William Thio. I'm Angelo Castro III. Good evening.